Welcome to the Tisa Jay Show. I am Sauce Mackenzie, and I'm honored to be hosting the articulate and the wonderful entrepreneur, Miss Tisa Jay. How you doing?
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm great. So, first of all, who is Tisa Jay, and what is this about?
Tisa Jay is
Boss moves. I like that. But I like that. And so, this podcast journey is going to be amazing. We're going to make sure that. Tell me what you want to achieve from the Tisa Jay Show and what your listeners can gain from this.
to be able to relate to women
Yeah.
goals. They have dreams. They had roadblocks. They had experiences in life that made them feel like they weren't gonna make it, but they did.
Yeah.
You know, they worked hard to reach their goals and accomplish in their mate, even for people hoping and just wishing and having a dream, but haven't fully got there yet. I hope that they're inspired to continue to work and get to that level of life that they want to be at. And I hope that the people who are where they are position.
Yeah.
Because once they're comfortable, where else do you have to go? So I hope they're inspired as well. I hope they're inspired by I've reached this level that I want, but there's so much more and so many more glass ceilings to break. And I want all women to feel like they can break those glass ceilings. The sky's the limit and get opportunity to meet many women like them or men like them who fits like their personality, who may have the same dream as them, who may have had the same dream or goals as them, and be able to say, if they can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah. That's amazing. Where does your courage come from?
I have always been, I feel like it about me. I want you to hate on me. Like, I want all of the smoke, right?
Yeah.
That's just the type of person and type of even kid I was. Like, I always just remember like not feeling adequate for certain things, or always been the girl that people try to downplay to make themselves look better. But I didn't realize themselves look better because I was me. So the best way that I can beat her is to make myself look better, put her down. And I didn't understand that until I got older. And I was like, oh, bring it. Bring the smoke.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. And my mom is like, she would always be like, you're just, keep doing it, prove people wrong, still that much more that you're always going to be able to do. So I would thank my mom pushed us to be great. She's always had us around great people who have accomplished great things in their lives. I was never really around losers,
Yeah.
and then the people who were losers, they kept us away from them. So I was able to be like, I don't want to be like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got to see both sides of the people. Just what I shared before, I feel like sometimes we get put in a position where we have no other choice. And so it's really about what you do with it, and just how I have to continue like to change a day, less than a day, just like we figure out everything. And then once I was able to refigure out everything, dig into deeper to who Tisa Jay is and things that she can do and what I can do and accomplish. I think that's where all inspiration comes
What are some happy memories from your childhood that shaped who you are now?
I have a great aunt. She introduced me to a lot of elegant things at a young age. And my parents, like my grandma, and this is just like from a fashion side and of an elegant world. When I was in kindergarten, so was trained.
Yeah.
Early age, like this is what like I felt like, that girl at 5 years old, treated me, made sure I had the best of everything. I looked at this picture of me, my dad, and my brother, and I had on a whole Burberry outfit.
Wow.
And I was like 6, right?
Yeah.
So, it's like looking at those like types of things from the fashion world. But my great aunt, I would never forget her. She had a nice Mercedes Benz at the time. It was like in the 80s. Like she had a Benz. I wore my mink coat And she came and picked me up, and I was in a pretty dress, and I wore my mink coat, and I went to the Nutcracker
Wow.
play. And that was like top tier for me, being 6 or 7 years old, in a mink coat,
Yeah.
rolling in the beds, going to the Nutcracker. Right?
Wow.
You have adults who never even like as a kid, like you got grown people who never experienced, that
Those
in
type of
life.
things.
I just say like the experiences that my parents gave me at an early age, and also just being raised by the type of father, everything has been with class, everything. So I've never not, he's always showed me like what the finer things look like. And I think he's even expressed to me, I never wanted you to be impressed by
Things.
mediocre things
Yeah.
or mediocre men. He's like,
Yeah.
I never want you to be impressed by that kind of stuff. So, and I get it now. I
Yeah.
get it. I get what he's saying. One other thing he always expressed to us was like finances and credit. He would sit at the kitchen table with us at like 7, 8 years old. My brother was like 4, and he's
Mhm.
sitting at the kitchen table talking to us about credit,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
And you're just now seeing like people really like we're seeing we have social media now where you're seeing it more and you're seeing those conversations people are having with their kids
Yeah.
and examples of it. But back in the 80s
Wow.
and the 90s, like the first thing you're gonna buy is a stereo. That was like the first thing he said you're gonna purchase. You're gonna get a credit card. You're gonna buy a stereo, and then you're gonna pay off your stereo. Different things like that. So I would say like my father shaped a lot of that. My mother shaped it. My aunts, and my parents' friends, like the people that my parents had as influences around us. I never saw them like around anybody who didn't accomplish great things.
Wow. That's dope.
Like I just like all my dad's friends got it going on, right?
Yeah.
And these people been in my life since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know what their challenges are behind closed doors, but I've always seen them that way, even
Wow.
as a kid growing up. So that's that shaped that shapes, who I am, being a mother. I was a single mom with my son, Jaden, and just wanting to be the best mom to him, and then have a daughter and wanting to be the best mom and give them, although I had a great life growing up, I still experienced challenges too.
Mhm.
I became a single mother. So now I'm living in a whole different world. Now it's like, oh wow, I gotta pay my rent. I have to pay
Yeah.
my son's school. I have to pay for diapers,
Yeah.
all those things. So I went through all of that, and I just taken like all those steps. Because I remember at one point in my life, this was just a dream. And I'm still got this isn't even
Yeah.
this is just the surface, right?
Yeah.
There's still so many other levels that I want to be or get to that I'm gonna continue working hard.
Wow. That's amazing. So, have you dealing with growing up and having those positive influences, did you ever deal with situations where you finally found out, man, these people are trying to break me down and you had to get through some type of adversity? How did you deal with that?
Sure. Say people was like spread rumors and say stuff I didn't even know about until later. And I was at the beauty shop.
Wow.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't have any kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like where did this come from, right?
Yeah.
They know
Yeah.
all the stories. They have it all figured out.
Yeah.
And I'm the last one to know. I get that a lot. I would say just like being like a single mom trying to reach certain levels in my career. Like
Mhm.
when I worked in corporate America, I felt like I was always having to prove myself, like everywhere. I even like people like now that I used to work with, like in corporate, they see me like I went to this one major conference and I saw someone that I worked with and they were like, "Oh, are you here as a global entrepreneur conference?" And they asked me if I was there with my boss. I was like, no, I am the boss.
Right, right, right.
I'm here because I'm the boss. I said, who are you here with? They said, oh, I work for
Yeah.
this company. And I was like, oh, who do you know? This is what I'm here. And when they see that, I feel like people place you in this box and they want you to stay in that box.
Yeah.
So it's like they meet you in a certain chapter of your life and they want you to stay in that box that they know you as. So then when they see you come out of that box, they're like taken away because they always kept you in this box. I always say nobody keeps baby in the corner,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
and that's something that nobody's going to keep me in a corner.
Yeah. And then speaking of corporate America, what did you do in corporate America and what challenges did you face being a confident Black woman in corporate America?
Oh, absolutely. So I worked in the tech industry. And so working in the tech industry, there are more Black women in tech now, but there weren't very many Black women in tech where I started in the tech industry. So I remember going like to travel. I traveled a lot for work. So I remember going to different conferences and things like that. And I never saw any women there that looked like me.
Wow.
You know, I was walking around, I see the white guys with the vest on.
Yeah.
They always wear that vest. That vest just makes them feel something. I don't know what, but they would have that vest on and or their suit, and then it's different men. Even there's you see Black men there too, but you never saw Black 10 years of my career, right? So one thing that I have always wanted to do is be a representation to any girl who wants to learn about technology, who wants to work in the software industry, who wants to work in SaaS. I would say starting from where I started as a lead generation specialist for a tech company where I'm just picking up the phone, making cold calls, qualifying people, to running an entire division of my own for one of the biggest security and software companies in the world, right? So from going from that to where I was, but not being able to run my own division, but not able to reach that level of to me in like the C-suite.
Okay.
You know, so that's kind of where they box you out at. It's like, okay, she can't, we're not. And as I got up there, I even stopped seeing Black men. I used
Wow.
to see Black men from here down, but you don't see them here up.
Wow.
So if you're barely seeing Black men from here down, you're not going to see very many from here or women from here up in the tech world.
Wow.
So it kind of becomes like this is this is our this is our little world up here. That's kind of the feeling that I got in that space. And so being an entrepreneur, it feels that I don't have to have anybody say this is you guys stay down in this space
Exactly.
because we're running this space.
It feels good to get paid for your own intelligence, what you're
It
worth.
does. It does. And I will credit every experience that I've had in corporate to where I am today, because I learned how to develop my own business opportunities. I learned, so I don't feel like I would be able to be where I am without that corporate
Experience.
world
Yeah.
and that experience. But I still feel like there is still a lot for me to learn and continue to say like, this is good enough. Like there's still so much more. So I continue to like educate myself, still continue to like put myself in learning seminars and things like that because I'm not working anymore or training or just going online and finding a class or something that I can continue to do.
Wow. What was the moment that made you say, okay, corporate, I love you, but I'm done?
I work for a software company, a mobility management company, and we had an orientation. And I asked the owner of the company, like my questions I asked him was like, hey, what made you want your own business? Because, you know, in my family, everybody's always worked. Everybody's always I come from a working class family, right? So, I'm always seeing everybody just go to work and have a boss, just get up, you know, go home, pay the bills, or just live a normal working class life, right? But I asked him, I said, what made you want to be an entrepreneur, start your own company? He said, I no longer wanted a boss. Ever since that day, that's always been my goal.
Yeah.
Right? Like he put that in my head. Like he said, I never wanted a boss. And I'm like,
Right. Right.
And I was like, I thought about that. I was like, I don't know. Just my opening my just opening my mind up to better for myself at that time. But the turning point was when the job gave me 3 days of bereavement. And then I got put on a performance review for performance because I was told, since you went through what you went through, you haven't been. Yeah. And then I still wasn't performing the same, and it was my boss at the time with my director and HR. And they said that this is a mutual release, that we think that it's time for you to leave the company. And so she told me, I remember HR contacted me and she said, we can make referrals, for, if you can reference us for another job, and you can get your unemployment and everything. And I told her, I don't want and I've done it now for the past 2 years. I never went back to work. I never collected the unemployment. All I did was started building from there.
Yeah. What was that feeling like, hearing such, lack of compassion for what you were going through at the time?
I realized that something that they always say is that you're just a number. They're going to replace you. You could die tomorrow. And that's just what that world is. They're going to already replace you once they start feeling like some kind of way about you or whatever. They're going to figure out a way to get rid of you.
Yeah. Such a callous world. But it made your skin tougher, though. Yeah.
It's tough. A lot of times I think people.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes, So I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I haven't reached that point yet, right? So there's times where I'm like, oh, I miss my 6-figure salary, but I learned that that's not my source, right? My source comes from a higher power than what the salary could bring me, right?
Right.
So everything that I've gained everything better ever since. Life has just been like you're working and you're like, oh, I'm thinking 3 years later, still here.
Still here. Yeah. 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 And this entrepreneurship is not sweet.
It is not. It's not. It's hard. It's the hardest job I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard because the only person that you have really to depend on is you.
Yeah.
You're betting on yourself, but all you have to have is the right opportunity that's going to change, everything for you. You just got to keep working and keep going, that right.
Wow. That's beautiful. Now I want to ask you about, when did you first meet, rest in peace, when did you first meet your husband and what did that feel like?
I met him when I was 14.
Wow.
He was in my math class, but I didn't feel anything because I didn't talk to him, right?
Yeah.
We sat next to each other. He used to always copy off my math assignment. And then we had some break time. And I used to think I was psychic.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me read your palm. He would be like, and then we were cool. We were skating at the skating rink. And you know how you skate backwards with somebody?
Yeah.
We was just friends. He was just cool. And I was like, you want to skate backwards with me? To school with, right? I went to high school with. And then I didn't talk to him really anymore. After that, I would see him out, we both like to skate. So I would see him, at the skating rink and things like that. But we never had a conversation. And then one time, one of his homeboys had hit me up on my inbox on Facebook on some weird stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
Yeah.
So I ignored him. And then 2 days later, he hit me up.
Yeah.
Which one of y'all? What's really happening here? So
yeah.
let's see what he are.
Yeah.
It was just kind of one of those random bored sitting in my room thinking
Yeah.
about stuff. Like, it wasn't even intentional, right? So we like kind of like chopped it up back and forth. This is on Hooters on West 38th Street.
Yeah, I
It was
remember.
still open.
Yeah.
And so we went to Hooters and we met each other up there. And it was like a snow, like nobody's supposed to be outside.
Oh, it was bad. Yeah, yeah.
And so we went up there and we chopped it up at Hooters for 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 6 hours. And you know, when people go on a date, you think like, oh, you gotta look for them.
Yeah.
This dude had on some gray sweatpants, a white t-shirt, and some Reeboks.
Yeah.
Himself, just
Right.
casual, normal. And so we hung out, and I think I kind of like has brought light to him. So like he always wanted to like hang out with me. He was just like, he was so fun, and he would always be like, man, you so tight. Man,
Yeah.
you so tight. Like, dang, you were tight. Like that, you know, like
Yeah.
just like bringing that personality. I remember his mom, when I first met his mom, she's like, I've never seen my son this happy. And because he was like the type of guy that would be like sit in his room and play video games. And then he only, like, if his cousin wasn't outside, like he would only go watch it outside, and he was really quiet. And I was just like the opposite.
Yeah.
So we kind of like I was the wild one, and he was kind of like, we had that balance. He
Yeah.
balanced me. So he kind of brought that calm down portion, like helped me calm down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I haven't always been like,
Yeah.
I was like kids, I would be a hippie. I would be like, probably like the friend that sits on your couch.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have any responsibilities, you
Yeah.
know, I would be like, F this job, it gets there on time.
Yeah.
That wasn't me at all.
Yeah.
Like,
He's really responsible. Yeah.
so yeah, we started dating at 29, and then we made it like official at 30. 7 months later, we were engaged.
Wow.
And then the following year we were. So it was like, so we started dating in 2010 and we got married.
What turned the tide to make you say yes and commit to marriage?
So I'll keep it real. So I care about marriage. I was like,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't like something that like I dreamed of doing. Rich and me and my son travel the world. I didn't care about any of it, right?
Yeah.
I was like, it wasn't a big deal to me. But I remember talking to my grandmother and my brother. So he was married way longer than me, right? And he's still married to this day to the same person, right? So my grandmother used to be like, you're an old man.
Grandmas don't play. Grandmas don't play.
I was like, oh, what? She was like, yes, you're over 30 and you're not married. So she was, you need to settle down. So like, you know, she just felt like I was doing too much. Like she felt like at the age I was at, I should be a wife. I should be a mother. I should have a normal, calm life. But instead I was like outside. And someone said, you know, but whenever I was kid free, I was outside, right?
Yeah.
So it was like,
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking anything like about any of that at the time. And madness. And he just asked me, and I was, what? Are you for real?
Yeah.
You know? And he was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we lived together at the time. And he moved in with me, and it was one of our weekends. I think my son was with his grandparents, so he was with my parents that weekend. But so it's just his time. He and I just had our own time at home. To Red Lobster, he ordered the carry out, and he was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna order some food and go home and watch March Madness."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." So we were sitting watching March Madness, and he asked me, and it was just. I always picture like, so I get like on one knee.
Yeah.
You know? And he's just like casually looked at me and asked me. And I was like, he's like, we can go get your ring tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's like, because I don't know what you like.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know what you're going to like or whatever. So he was like, you could just pick it out.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine, you know? So at the time I was just like, just younger, and it was just so casual, and it was cool. And it's like you see like on social media, all the big hoopla, like on one action.
Mm.
I didn't have it was watching the basketball game, it was a commercial. Will you marry me?
Yeah.
Or you wanna get married? I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
cool, we go to tomorrow. And we really went to K's the next day
Yeah.
and got my ring.
Yeah.
Right. So then we got married a year. Like we started playing engaged and that we were getting married.
Yeah.
That was like March, April. His cousin graduated and that he was playing video games and I was like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then so I took a pregnancy test and I was like, oh my gosh. And he was like, what? I was like, it's positive.
Oh,
So I
wow.
found out I was pregnant with. So then like a month later, um so we still like, continue like playing and everything in October. And then we got married the following September. We actually had our wedding because I was like, so we waited until after before he passed away.
That's
And we would still
amazing.
be married right now
Yeah.
if he didn't pass away. We would
Wow.
still be in this house, we would still be married.
Yeah.
It would still be just how our lives are. At least I think so. But I will say that I'm not the same woman that I was when I was married to him. I'm a different person. And I don't think the person I am is someone that he would necessarily be able to handle, not in a bad, negative way, but just in a go getter way. That he wouldn't want to be in my way. And I think that he might have, just because I know his personality, he would have probably been like, we just maybe resentful. But I just kind of went back to the person that I was before.
Wow. But in a more educated fashion due to what your experiences. Yeah. Did you get a calmness from marriage?
I got to experience a love that just true, genuine love, and I was loved and appreciated. And I feel like he set the bar like
Yeah.
pretty high. So it's like we watch people go through things and argue about stuff. We were like, dang, we've been through that, but it didn't affect us
Yeah.
in that way. They tripping over that.
Yeah.
That's how kind of stuff we would be like, that is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really tripping over that. We've been through that already, but it wasn't that big of a deal for us. We were able to get through it. And I think that I was able, even if I never being a wife again, I'm cool with it because I had a great husband and I would rather never get married again and keep that feeling
Yeah.
than get married again and go through hell.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
I rather like if I had to choose, if God was like, hey, do you want to get married again? And you're not gonna.
What is that feeling like what is that feeling like as a woman feeling protected like that? Can you speak on that a little bit? Feeling loved and protected as a wife. What's that feeling like?
Good. So like changed like for me, like a lot of my life is pretty much still the same
Mm.
as it was. Like as far as like I still live in the same home. I drive a different car.
Mm.
I upgraded just a little shit. Love the protection because when you're single, and I say like single women attract different devils. And I even feel like that now being back by myself again, you attract a different level of devils. And all those, and not saying that men are devils, but you meet different spirits and you meet different personalities and everybody's not doesn't always have your best interests, at heart, right? And I remember like when we started dating, like he wasn't my type, I wasn't his type, but we balanced
Yeah.
each other, out. But what I mean as far as like protection is like he was very private about like our life,
Yeah.
and things like that. So a lot of people didn't know about really too much about my life,
Right.
right? Because we always just kind of kept our stuff low key,
Yeah.
private. I think I probably posted like one, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then once I became by myself and I started hanging out but I also lost that protection that I
Yeah.
had because I started meeting people who didn't have my best interest at heart, but they wanted to get to, and they were curious about my life, and they did not protect.
Yeah. And then with the age difference, after those years, it's probably a different level of devil then, even then before when you're younger.
It is, because they have different agendas,
Yeah.
right? They're a little more curious about you, whether it be about your body, actually,
Yeah.
whether it be just, anything.
Yeah.
Like, this girl seems to be doing really well for herself.
Yeah.
I want to get to know her,
Yeah.
in different ways, because I'm very supportive, but it's like you become a target for different things when you're
Yeah.
not protected,
Yeah.
when you don't protect yourself.
Yeah.
And those are lessons that I had to learn.
Yeah.
Those are lessons I had to learn. And those lessons, I'm a very different person
Yeah.
in that space, because it's like I'm new, like, oh, I'm new out here,
Yeah.
like I need associates, get to know, or like hang out. I have like some of my friends I already knew, I was hanging out with them more. Now their friends want to get closer to me, and it's
Yeah.
like I had to like put the brakes
Yeah.
on. I remember one of my friends, we went out one night, and this guy that she knows gave us a ride home. We had drinks. It was me and her. She was grieving. I was grieving. I hit this like party girl spiral for a little while,
Yeah.
just to numb the pain or whatever. And so this guy that picked us up, and she's like, "Oh, this is my friend Tisa." Da, da, da. And I'm in the back seat.
Yeah.
And he's driving us here to my house. And he's like, "Yeah, I know who she is. I know about her," or whatever. And he's like, "Yeah, she rich as fuck."
Oh man.
I never met you. I never
Yeah.
seen you in my whole life,
Yeah.
right? So that right there, I was like,
Red flag
red
antennas.
flag.
Yeah.
It made me red flag. It put a red flag in me. But then I had another experience where we went to dinner do a dinner party, and everybody was there. It was like the bill had to go like on, like when you do a party and you have people who they say everything has to be on one bill or whatever. Everybody's like, well, I had this, I had that. So it's like, well, somebody like, I'll
Yeah.
just pay her. It's not a big deal,
Yeah.
like. And somebody had made another comment at that time. I've been with you twice, and I heard this 2 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now just like, okay.
I think that's because we both fellow Aries, right? And I think being an Aries, our energy is our commodity, but sometimes we give it away until we feel like somebody taking advantage of it, or we got to shut down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's what's happened to.
Yeah.
I've shut down. Like I used to host parties, dinners. I had brunches.
Yeah.
I wanted people over all the time.
It almost gives you a coldness, but it's necessary to survive.
It's necessary to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that's tough.
So when it comes to that protection, those are the lessons that
Yeah. Yeah. And that's very tough, because we always so giving, and the things we wouldn't take advantage of, we almost hold other people to that standard, and it's like,
yeah.
man, that's you that petty, or you that greedy, or that selfish.
Yeah.
And it sometimes throws off your view of the world. So I totally understand.
And I have two best here that I spend, my bestie cousin and then my best friend, and she was in Dallas, Texas. Those are my two people that make sure I'm okay regardless. Right? We take care of each other. We make sure each other's straight. I can lean on that. And it's never what I did for you. Or it's never any of that, right?
Yeah.
It's never any of that. We just do. This is not you to, and this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, like if it was reversed, I wouldn't even be thinking
I wouldn't
about
think
it.
about it, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, if you needed 5 bands and I gave it to you, I would have gave you the 5 bands and I would have just been on about my business.
Yeah.
Did it for you,
Yeah.
right? So that is something that, like, like some things that like I have.
Yeah. And that's a hard thing, because I've suffered some tragedies, and it's tough where it's like your compassion wasn't even real, because nothing was real about how you felt about me. You just needed me. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I like to ask you, go ahead, I'm sorry.
or they see you what you're doing with other people that yeah, we with space.
Yeah.
We're not in like our level of friendship is completely
Different.
different.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like me and my girls like it's like the type that be like, hey, like let's book this trip. You know, girl, no, like we all going, and that's just how it is. You know, like we're just going and we all have a good time. Like nobody's gonna know if you was $1,000 short.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna know, but then there's other people who want to be, you know,
Yeah. And it's not even a financial limit. It's more of an ethical thing. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's real. That's real. So I want to ask you, if it's not too sensitive, um, as far as your husband, when did his health start deteriorating?
I didn't know. Like, so I remember, so it's interesting. So he died September 6th, August 20, somewhere around that time, or maybe it's like the 24th. He wanted to celebrate our 8-year anniversary. Staycation with you because it's almost our anniversary month. So it's the last month of August.
Okay.
And he wanted to kick off our anniversary month of September. So we were at the hotel and we checked in on a Friday, and that Saturday morning, I remember him saying, "Man, I've been having like pain like in my chest." And I was like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Well, there's a hospital right, right, right down the street."
Mm.
Shoot.
Are you good? Are you good? Yeah. You
Yeah. I'm
good.
like, um, there's a hospital down the street
Mm.
or whatever. We can just go there.
Are you good?
There's a hospital down the street. We can go to that hospital. And he was like, nah, it's cool. Hey. So then we're talking, you know, we going about our day. We check out. His family had like a family reunion slash his grandpa's birthday celebration. And everything was cool. He was cool for those couple days. He never said anything else about it. Then he brought it up again, like around, dude, you need to go to the hospital. So we have been talking about it, and I've been saying, like, hey, you need to go to the hospital. And so it was a Sunday, and his mother kept our daughter so we could go to the hospital. And then his stepmom called and invited us over for a cookout at their house. And so he was like, nah. And she's like, come on, you know, come on over or whatever. So we ended up going. And then I was like, well, when we leave here, we got to go to the hospital. And so it was hot outside. And we're at his dad's house. And he was like, I'm not going to get no hospital bill. And I
Mm.
was like, oh, man. He just went in on me. He was
Right.
like, I don't want no whole nother bill like that. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So he came home. We came home from the cookout. And he got his stuff together for work. And he went to bed, woke up that morning, famous Amos cheeseburgers.
Hmm.
And I needed to go to the store and get the
Mm.
stuff. And this was Tuesday. So the barbecue was Monday because this was Tuesday. And so he was like, yeah, don't forget to go get the stuff or whatever. But he looked at me before that and he was like, I don't feel like going to work today. And he used to always have this thing where he had like lack of interest days. Like
Mm.
he would never want to go to work. He started getting like that. And I was like, he had been taken off of work a lot. That's what I was concerned at the time, right? So I didn't say anything that day because he had just kept saying, like, I just got used to it. I was like, okay, whatever. So he was like, oh, looks like you want me to go to work. I was
Yeah.
like, you know, that's fine. So he reminded me, he's like, okay, that's cool. I was so weird that day because I never get up and look out the blinds because he had to be at work at like 5 in the morning.
Mm.
And I never looked out of the blinds because I'm like, dang, the car been sitting out there for a long time. Like he's just sitting out there. So eventually he pulled off and went to work that day. And then that was like 5 in the morning, well, 4 or something in the morning. And then about 11 o'clock, no, 1 o'clock is when I got the call that he had suffered a critical incident at work. And when I got to the hospital, he was gone. So they told me that I had to tell them to stop. but I didn't want to do all of that. So he died the next day. So I have been trying to get him to go to the hospital. So to answer your question, it had probably been like a week before he started making the complaint. How long? He said a couple weeks, and he had told me about it. He's like, I've been going through this for a couple weeks. So he had already been dealing with whatever.
What did they say the cause of death was?
Heart attack. He had a 70% artery blockage in his.
That's tough. I'm sorry to hear that. So that happens. Now you're a single mom, you rebuilding your strength. How did you get with that? How did you get overcome some of that?
Get through better. I just get through my days better. I don't feel like I've completely overcome it, but I just had to really teach myself that I have 2 kids who depend on me, and I have to just keep pushing forward
Yeah.
for them. You know, I don't think I've overcome. I think I just pushed forward to what life is still life and life is still here. And I still have to manage my household. I still have to take care of my kids. I still have to build, a life for them,
Yeah.
and myself. So I still have to build this. I think not having my corporate job also inspired me to push forward. And I don't feel like and I look back now, if all I had to do was wake up every morning and sit still at my computer all day, I think I would probably not losing my job never happened. So I don't feel like that really happened to me. I feel like it happened for me.
Wow.
That situation. But I feel like I've overcome my obstacles because I'm inspired and I want my kids to be proud of me.
Yeah. And sometimes I've suppressed a lot of things because I just knew I had to be the strongest person in my kid's life. So, yeah, I just kind of punched through a lot of things to get things done. Well, you're doing amazing now. Did you have any businesses at the time when you became a widow?
Yeah, so we started, so 2020 added the boutique, which
Okay.
is a formal boutique. That was during COVID. And then we thought it was going to take off because it's a formal wear company. And so they canceled everything. No more weddings, no proms, nothing. So we just kept building. So I would kind of just like work. People knew that I had dresses and knew I was a wedding planner. So I was still getting booked for different things.
Mhm.
And he was always like there. Like when I decorated a wedding or had to plan a wedding, he's the one that always came and took all the stuff down, packed it
Yeah.
back up,
Yeah.
helped me fold linens. He was folding linens,
Yeah.
stacking charger plates and
Yeah.
candles.
Yeah.
He was doing all of it.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
was like, he would help me get it set up, he'll take everything down. So yeah,
That's amazing. It's amazing resilience too. So,
yeah, and the wine was created just because I wanted to have something for my brides and groom clients, and have something just to keep his memory alive with the groom's wine, and still let show that I still believe in love and marriage and keep people together. Because sometimes people have arguments in their marriage or relationship. What's the best thing you can do is pop open a bottle of wine
right.
and talk about it. Just get through whatever y'all getting through over some wine. Just have a conversation. It could just get you through like so much. So that was one in celebration. Celebrating brides and grooms, celebrating just life, period. So it's a bride and groom's wine, but people buy my wine without even it being a.
That's an amazing story. I wanna talk about how all the businesses tie in. So, event planning first. How did you get started into that? And then I want to transition to the other
Yeah,
businesses.
so error.
Mhm.
And so I was affected by that 6 at the time. Looking for work for probably about a year. And I wanted extra income, like something. I'm like, what am I good at?
Yeah.
Because at that time, I thought every time I went through like a transition, I knew that it was meant for me to be an entrepreneur.
hmm
Every time my life transitioned, I knew that it was transitioning and entrepreneurship was always my passion through every transition of my life. So at that time I was like, oh, I'm good at planning parties. So I started throwing like birthday parties for my son. So when I first started event planning, I was doing kids' birthday parties
hmm
because I would lay my son's birthday parties out.
Right.
And people were like, oh my gosh, do my party. This is so nice. So I would like post pictures and things like that. Of like my son's birthday parties and things like. And one time I rented out Jillian's for his 7th birthday party. It was a rock star party. I had all the kids dress up like they were celebrities.
Yeah.
And they were on the red carpet. And I rented out the whole entire Jillian's downtown.
Wow.
First, second, and third floor. I created a rider where it was like, oh, we only want red.
Yeah.
We only want French fries, you know? So like they had to adhere to the rider of all the rock stars coming, right? And they had it all set up, like all the food was set up super dope. He had a big old guitar.
Yeah.
Cake, his birthday cake was a guitar. And it was just really creative.
Yeah.
It was really creative. And so people started kind of to do different events and parties. In 2010, I did my first wedding.
Oh, wow.
And it's 2025.
Was that first wedding a big challenge for you?
So it wasn't, because my mom got married, second marriage from my dad. And I was there with my mom through the whole entire thing. So I got to go meet the florist. I got to go meet the cake person. I went through the whole entire process with her and just seeing like everything that had to be done, the invitations, all that. So I really like gained a lot of interest in that. And I was part of the whole entire thing. She didn't leave me out of any of it. So she let me be a part of it. And then so I kind of like got my feet wet, you know, in that space. So I did one of my friends' weddings. And I will say every couple who's looking for their wedding since 2010 is still married.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
They are still married. I do not have one divorced client. All my clients are still married. So I don't know what it is, but I'm thankful to say that.
Good luck charm. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And that's just because they gave me a chance. And it was a beautiful wedding with them because I went to same company and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So to now you have to be spending $30,000.
Yeah, that's good. Y'all hear it, right? 30K? Yeah.
Yeah, or to book me.
Well, that's just making up for your time and effort in the process. And
right. But that's just your budget.
yeah, it's your budget. Yeah.
Your budget, not paying me $30,000.
Yeah. The budget of the wedding has to be 30K.
Because the person I've grown into when it comes to like assets and investments and things like that, much like if you have 100,000, you're spending 100,000 on a wedding, and I look at things a little differently.
Yeah.
You know, now, only because I'm into investing, I'm into assets, I'm into looking at what those look like, I'm into how you make different decisions financially and things like that. You know, so like I had a $30,000.
Yeah.
You know, and it might have been a little bit, but I think the reason why I put that as a qualification standard is because of, you know, the quality of the business that you want to have and the clients that you want to.
I agree. Now, are your events strictly weddings or parties, or do you do? So as the event planning became better, what made you transition into the formal wear?
Shop.
Yeah. So what's the name of the
Tisa Jay Boutique.
Tisa Jay Boutique?
It
So
used to be Open Door right over now.
You changed it. Yeah, I remember Open Door. So you started with like prom dresses, or do you start with formal wear for men and women? Yeah. And how's that going for you? It's going good. So you do weddings, anything formal. That's good. That's good. Does that tie in? That ties in excellent with the wedding planning, because I plan a wedding now. I got the outfit for you. And then that leads to the wine. You got time to talk about the wine? So let's talk about the wine company, the name of it, and what got you into wine.
Sure. So the wine is called the Bride's Wine Company. And I felt like it would be a good catch if somebody was shopping for a gift for the groom. Oh, the groom's wine. They have the groom's cake. You know, the groom always has his own special cake at a wedding sometimes. So give him his own special wine. You know, the bride's wine, give her own special wine. If I'm going to a bridal shower and I don't know what to give my friend, grab her bridal wine. How cute. You know,
Right.
So that was my vision, you know, from a creative side of it. And then also just wanting to keep it, you know, continue to keep love alive and marriage alive.
That's beautiful. Tisa Jay, we really appreciate you, the Tisa Jay Show. Thank you for partnering with Concrete Genius Media. We got some beautiful things coming. And please tell, even though I'm going to put it in the links in all the pods, tell them where to find you on all socials.
On Instagram at the Tisa Jay. You can find me on Facebook at Tisa Jay. And you can find me on TikTok. And you can find me on...
That's cool, y'all. We appreciate it. We signing off. Peace.